The day hasn't even begun, yet your heart is already racing. A single notification lights up your phone and your stomach tightens. A minor task on your calendar looks like a mountain. You haven't moved, but you're already exhausted. Not by action, but by anticipation. What you're experiencing isn't life. It's your mind rehearsing everything that could go wrong. This is the quiet anxiety modern life feeds on. Subtle, persistent, almost invisible. The Stoics, 2,000 years ago, saw this coming. They didn't have email or breaking news alerts, but they knew the true battlefield was always within. The noise, the pressure, the fear, none of it was new. What they offered wasn't a motivational slogan or shallow trick, it was a way of being. One of the first habits Epictetus taught was to pause, not just physically, but mentally, before reacting. He called it the power to withdraw into yourself. Today, this would mean resisting that first impulse to check your phone, reply in frustration, or spiral into thought. You do not need to react immediately. You are not obligated to respond to the world's chaos on its terms. You can choose to delay your judgment just for a moment. That moment is the birthplace of freedom. Imagine your mind as a citadel, the kind Marcus Aurelius often wrote about. It has walls, gates, and guards. Most people leave the gates wide open, letting in every stray worry, headline, or insult. But the Stoic mind is disciplined. It allows entry only to what deserves a place. You are the gatekeeper, not the prisoner. As you step into your day, you don't need to fix everything. You only need to govern yourself. The meeting might go wrong, the message might be misunderstood, the plans might fall through, but what remains in your control is your response. Will you give it away to the noise, or will you keep it anchored? This is not cold detachment, it's clarity. It's seeing things for what they are, not what your anxiety paints them to be. That's why Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." You've likely endured more damage from your own thoughts than life itself. The Stoic habit here is simple but radical. Refuse to panic before understanding. When something happens, ask yourself, is this truly bad or just unfamiliar? Often, it's the latter. This habit is not cultivated in a crisis. It's forged in ordinary moments, standing in line, sitting in traffic, waiting for a reply. You train your mind not to lurch, not to chase, not to grip everything tightly. That stillness, however brief, is a crack in the chaos. It grows each time you choose it. So the next time your anxiety rises like a tide, remember, it's not the tide itself, but how you brace for it. Breathe. Stand at the gate of your mind. Don't rush to open it.
Some say anxiety is a disease of the modern world, but the Stoics knew it as a flaw of the undisciplined mind. Not a medical defect, but a failure of philosophy, of forgetting what is truly in your power. The second ancient habit is this: draw a line between what depends on you and what does not. Each morning, Epictetus would remind his students, some things are up to us and some things are not. This was no vague mantra. It was a blade meant to cut through confusion, fear, and emotional clutter. Once the line is drawn, clarity returns. Today, that line is blurred. You worry about the number of views your project gets, the timing of someone's reply, the exact wording of a comment. You try to control other people's thoughts, your reputation, the outcome of every plan. And in doing so, you suffer. because you're dragging your identity into battles that aren't yours to win. Look closer. You don't control how people interpret your silence. You don't control the next market swing or whether someone else acts with integrity. You barely control the way your own body reacts to a bad night of sleep. What you do control, fully, completely, is how you meet each of those moments. Seneca once said, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." In modern terms, that means anchoring yourself not in the noise of outcomes, but in the steadiness of effort. Did you act with clarity? Did you speak with purpose? Did you live in accordance with reason rather than impulse? That's your part. That's your arena. But we forget this. We scroll, we refresh, we obsess, as if more data will make us safe, as if certainty is just one more update away. But certainty never comes. What comes is more noise, more comparison, more fiction dressed as information. So you must train yourself daily, not to disengage from the world, but to stop overreaching, to wake up, look at your day, and ask, what is mine to carry? Not everything is, and anything that isn't should not weigh you down. Start small. The email you haven't received, not your control. The praise they forgot to give, not your control. The sudden traffic jam, not your control. But the calm in your breath, the posture of your thoughts, the tone of your reply, all yours. In this, you reclaim a quiet power. You begin to shed the invisible weight of false responsibility. Anxiety weakens when it can no longer trick you into grasping for what isn't yours. This is how a Stoic walks through a burning world without burning from within. You are not the storm, you are the sailor, and you don't command the wind, only the rudder.
There is a peculiar strength in those who move slowly through chaos. Not because they are immune to it, but because they are trained not to mirror it. This brings us to the third ancient habit: return to yourself, often and without apology. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. Every day he faced war, disease, betrayal, politics, and yet he wrote not of conquest, but of stillness. Nowhere, he said, can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. That was not a metaphor. It was a map. In today's world, you are pulled from screen to screen, message to message, task to task. Your mind becomes stretched, thinned out like a thread ready to snap. You are present everywhere, yet grounded nowhere. No wonder you feel anxious. You've left your post. The Stoics did not run from life, but they knew this: you must step inward before you step outward. Otherwise, you are not acting, only reacting. You become noise responding to noise, fire feeding fire. So you must return. Return not once a year or when you're broken, but daily, like breathing. The habit is deceptively simple. A few minutes to be alone with your thoughts, without music, without headlines, without performing. It's a reset, a recentering, not an escape from the world, but a return to command. Modern life will call this wasting time, but Stoicism calls it leadership of the only kingdom that ever mattered, the self. Ask yourself, where am I being dragged? What opinions have I borrowed today without realizing? Whose urgency have I mistaken as my own? You begin to see so much of your anxiety is inherited, not chosen. By pausing, you take it back. This habit is not about meditation or rituals. It's about mental sovereignty. Whether you do it in the shower, at a red light, or as you shut your laptop, the practice is the same. Withdraw, regather, re-engage. It's how you reset the tone of your day so you stop chasing and start governing. It's how you avoid becoming what you consume. It's how you remember that peace is not found in the inbox, the feed, or the next answer, but in the discipline to be undisturbed by what does not deserve to disturb you. Think of your mind like a warrior's blade. If you never return to sharpen it, it dulls with every battle. The Stoics didn't wait for the world to be quiet. They built silence within. So, when the noise rises, and it will, you know the way back. It is not out there. It's in you.
Some days will test you before you even leave the bed. The alarm will be sharp, the notifications already waiting, your body tired, your mind crowded, and in that very first moment, the world asks, who owns your attention? Most people give it away, to a message, to a headline, to a thought they didn't choose. But a Stoic begins differently, quietly, with one decision. Today, I command my mind. Because that's what all three habits have in common. They are not escapes. They are not coping mechanisms. They are disciplines. Small acts of mental self-governance that over time reshape the very structure of your anxiety. The first habit taught you to pause, to delay judgment, to create space before reacting. The second taught you to divide, to stop carrying what was never yours to hold. The third taught you to return, to find clarity not in the noise, but within the self. Together, they do something profound. They shrink the world back to what you can handle. This is what anxiety hates. It thrives in exaggeration. It multiplies in ambiguity. It feeds on your need to control what cannot be controlled. But discipline, quiet, daily, stoic discipline, weakens it. It doesn't erase uncertainty, but it teaches you to stand firm within it. This is not abstract theory. It's intensely practical. When you're stuck in traffic and your pulse rises, pause. When someone criticizes you unfairly, ask, is this mine to carry? When the day feels like it's spiraling, withdraw, even for 60 seconds. You're not doing these things to feel better immediately. You're doing them because they make you stronger consistently. They restore the only power that matters, the power over yourself. Marcus Aurelius never wrote to impress. He wrote to remind himself, and by extension, us, that peace is a matter of principle, not circumstance. If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. Now, not tomorrow, not once the world calms down, but now. And if you fail, if you lose your grip and give in to anxiety again, then return again. That's the habit. That's the way. No perfection, only presence. You don't need to defeat anxiety in one heroic act. You only need to meet it with clarity, habit by habit, day by day, until what once ruled you now obeys. That is Stoic sovereignty.